Hi there, my name is Helen Gutia and welcome to my channel. So recently, I found myself looking at the different side hustles that one can carry out and ultimately succeed in them. As the name suggests, a side hustle is something you carry out beside your main hustle. So some of the outstanding characteristics of a side hustle is, in terms of time, you'll have to find some extra time out of your main hustle to carry out your side hustle. So that means if you have maybe an 8 to 5 job, you'll have to use your extra time maybe after 5 or during the weekends to carry out your side hustle. And now in terms of capital, you usually invest a limited amount of capital, and the main goal of starting out a side hustle is to have or put an extra coin into your pocket. So as I was going through the different side hustles, you go and Google what are some of the side hustles you can try. As I was doing all that, I realized that I personally have done a little bit of hustles here and there. And so I thought, for you to start another side hustle for you to start another hustle is by making sure that when you did those hustles that you really took keen, or you took some lessons from the hustles you learned. Why I'm not calling them side hustles is because while I was carrying them out, by then I didn't have a job, an 8 to 5 job. So they were like the main hustle to me. But right now, when I'm thinking about them, they can now change from a main hustle. They can now become the side hustles. So I decided to do this series of me finding out which side hustle to carry out ultimately, so that to succeed and to have that extra coin into my pocket. And so I decided, before I settle down on which hustle to carry out or which hustle to do, I'll have to first review all the hustles that I've ever carried out, so that to make sure that we have taken into consideration all the lessons that we were to learn. So yeah, welcome to to my channel. Please subscribe if you're new here. Subscribe, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you very much for your support. And so I'll be doing a series of hustles or side hustles and lessons, and I'll be sharing 1 or 2 lessons that I learned while I was doing those hustles, and ultimately I'll get to decide now which hustle do I start now that I have an 8 to 5 job. So yeah, welcome to the video. So my very first hustle that I did was opening a food kiosk, and that was after I finished my KCSE in December 2016, and it was exactly on December 12th, 2016. I remember very well, it was on Jamhuri Day. But that is not where it all started. I didn't just wake up and decide to open a food kiosk. So I'll give you like a backstory of how it came. The whole idea came to be born when I was in Form 4 that term. Because according to me, I had done my calculations, and I had figured out that I had worked enough to get myself to university. So I had already stopped worrying about my KCSE. Mind you, I've not done the exam, but I had already done my calculation and had assured myself that I'll get enough to get me to a university. And so my worries had shifted from doing the KCSE. My worries was, how do I go to the university? And my biggest worry of that is, will I have a phone by the time I go to the university? Why that was a big worry is because I wanted to have a smartphone. And sometimes you usually look at the conditions at home and you can tell, if I get a phone, is either a not so good phone or a kabambe, like you just need to make some calls. So that was me doing some calculations, and I was saying, according to how it is, I don't see myself getting a phone, like a good phone that you would like to go and join campus, a phone like that. Because I could see my brother coming home from university. I also saw other friends who I had from university, and they had some good phones. And to me, back then, I thought that was the ticket to university. You have to, for you to survive the society and the social crisis and everything. I thought, to me, a good phone was all I needed. And so my whole third term, the biggest worry I had, ironically, was not about the KCSE, whether I'm gonna pass or not. I did not have any pressure on that. My biggest worry was, how do I do? What will I do to get myself a good phone? Okay, I was sure my parents would buy me a phone, but I knew the most expensive phone maybe they would get me is, let's say, 5,000, up to 5,000. But me, I wanted at least, let's get a phone up to 10,000. So I knew I had to do something to get that extra money. And so I started experimenting. So, like I've already said, my biggest concern in Form 4 that term was, which hustle, what will I do when I finish Form 4 to get myself a good phone? So it did not start exactly like a food kiosk. One day mom came home, and she came home with this big flask that watu wa kahawa huwa wanazunguka nayo. That big kettle, do I call it kettle or a flask? That big flask that people usually peddle with coffee, kahawa around cities. That big flask. My mom came with it one day at home, and that is where the idea struck me. Immediately I saw that flask, I said, hadi mimi nikimaliza Form 4 naenda kuuza kahawa. I'll go kahawa, and I'll go peddling it around my hometown. And so that was where I decided on that. So for Form 4, that is what I'll do. I'll just cook some good kahawa and go and peddle it in our hometown. And so now I was relaxed because I found myself a good business. And I was very satisfied. And I was very ready. We actually finished our KCSE on December 4th. And I was very ready to start my hustle the next day. But my mom told there was a family event coming up. So my mother advised me, how about you wait for the family event to be over and then you can start your business. I was that determined. And so I waited, and on December 12th, on Jamhuri Day, it came to be the day that I was starting my business. I was so positive, you guys. So I did not start with kahawa. I cooked tea because mom provided me with milk, and so cooking tea was the easiest. So I cooked tea and carried it in that big flask. And let me tell you guys, when you see these people just walking so quickly carrying it, it's very heavy, and I had to carry it for some distance from home to where my hometown is like a 15 or 20 minutes walk. And so I cooked tea and I walked confidently to the town. Let me tell you, when I got to the town, I was targeting the Boda guys. And so immediately I got to town, I went to where the Boda guys usually hanged. Me there with my tea and my cups. Yeah, I had some cups. So I'm there with my cups and my tea, and now I want to sell. Shock on me. These Boda guys, they usually have this reputation of kutokoza tusichana twa Form 4. And so when I was still in school, they had tried flirting with me, and I did not have that. I could not take it. So to some extent, even I used to be rude, because when you don't want anything, you just dismiss it. And so these are the same guys that I rudely dismissed. Now I'm coming back to them to sell my tea. No one literally bought my tea. And you can imagine that this is where I had put all my hope here, that I'm here, I'm coming to you to sell my tea, to buy my phone. And now I've come to you, and nobody, absolutely nobody is willing to buy my tea. I had already started being frustrated. Only one guy, one Boda guy, and mind you, he was a new guy in the area. He had just relocated from where he had come from. So he had actually started his operation that very same day. So he did not have any reputation. And then from a small town, everybody knows you. So wanajua huyu ni msichana wa nani, wanakaanga na hapa chini na huwa analinga sana. So they could not buy the tea. Only that one guy who bought the tea. And so I was almost giving up, and then I realized, hawa ni watu wa boda. There is another category of watu wa matatu. So the matatu drivers, they were at a different stages. The boda guys were parking deep in the town, and then the matatu guys were outside. Almost you first get to stage, then you go to the town. So it was somehow in the outskirts of the town. So I decided, before I give up completely and go home, let me give it a try with the matatu drivers. And so I carried my flask full of tea, because only one boda guy has taken my tea and my cups, and I went to the matatu drivers. When I went there, I realized that there are those people who are constant, who remain there at the stage, who are there's an office, so they are employed there permanently. So I thought to myself, let me talk to these guys, because they are the one who knows all the matatu drivers. So I went to one and I approached him. I told him, I'm Jerry, and I have tea. I've cooked tea, and I want you to help me sell my tea. And he said, worry more, worry no more, because I got you. Because the Mkrugenzi way, he told me to not worry, because he told me, we usually have, when the drivers usually come to the stage, they usually come, park the car, the matatu, and then go into the town to take their tea. But today I'll make sure that not a single matatu driver will pass here without taking your tea. And then he also gave me a very important advice. He told me, you have tea, and very good tea, because he had already taken. You have some very good tea, but what are we eating with the tea? When a matatu driver come, he'll want to take your tea with something. So he told me, do you know any shop that, maybe there is a shop you usually go and buy from? So go there, tell them to give you some cakes, you'll pay later. And that is exactly what I did. I went to one of the shops where we usually buy our things from home, and I told her, hey, I decided to sell some tea, nataka unipatie your cakes. And so she gave me two packets of cake, and I came. And very good enough, she told me she will sell to me at the wholesale price. Like alinipatia with the same na bei yenye pia yeye alikuwa amenunua. So she was to eat a 10 shilling profit from each packet, and so she told me that is exactly what we'll add. I'll give you the packet at 40 bob, you go and sell it at 50. And so I was now seeing it moving. So I took the cakes and went back to the stage. And let me tell you how the guy had promised that he'll make sure not a single driver will pass that spot to go and find tea in town. That is exactly what happened. Every driver will come in and he will shout at them, come and take tea from here. Every driver coming in, come and take tea from here. And the driver usually go with the tout. So for each vehicle, I was getting two customers, the driver and the tout, the driver and the tout. And let me tell you, by 10 a.m. my tea was over. I had sold everything. I had sold all the cakes, I had sold all the tea. I was now counting some profits. And let me tell you, I forgot to mention how early I had gone to the market. By 6:30 a.m. nilikuwa town kuuza my chai, and now at 10, that is when that flask was exhausted. That is when I was able to sell all the tea, and I was so happy. And let me tell you, what happened after that really changed it all. When I finished selling all the tea, now I'm collecting all my cups and now being ready to go, they called me and they told me, have you realized that we usually have a problem? When we get to the stage, we usually have to leave our cars here and go to town, because the stage is here, then the town is further in. So you first get to the stage, then you go into the town. So they told me this is a gap that is there, because we have to leave our cars to go and find tea in town. How about you come and bring that tea to us? And ironically, like, I usually see that thing was all like it was God sent, or God had planned it out. It's my first day. I have sold all my tea, and now they are giving me more ideas. Hapo kwa stage there was a kiosk that somebody had come, that somebody had started cooking some tea and then stopped. So they told me, how about you go find the owner of this kiosk and tell them to rent the kiosk to you, and you be cooking us tea here, and you be cooking even food here, because when we usually get to stage, we usually have to leave our car and leave, if it's your car, kama ni gari yako inaingiwa na the passengers, you have to leave it and go find some tea there. So instead of that, how about you take the advantage of this situation? You are cooking some good tea, so how about you come find the owner of this kiosk, ask them to rent the kiosk to you, and you be cooking the tea for us. And that was just in the first day. I'm already getting suggestions from my potential customers. I was so happy. So now I'm so happy because my tea have sold out, and not only that, I'm having another great idea, like an expansion of that. My idea was just to sell the tea by peddling it, but now the idea has grown. Now I'll be cooking the tea from there. I was so happy, and so I went back to where I had taken the cakes, paid, and I lashed home. Let me tell you, I found my mom seated akinigoja kwa barabara. She was literally at the road waiting for me to come, because she knew how high my hopes were, and so she was there waiting for me to comfort me. If anything went wrong, she was there to comfort me. But she saw me smiling and she was so happy. So I told her all about how my day went. It was positive and everything. I narrated everything, and then I gave her the first responsibility. Kibanda nimejua, the kiosk that I had been suggested for to go and rent, they had told me the owner. So immediately I sent my mom. I told her, do this. Go to Mama Nani and rent the kibanda out. And so that was one. So we first rent the kibanda. Two, after renting the kibanda, we will now have to start cooking from there, from the kibanda. And so we had some few challenges, like we did not have what means of fire will we be using? We do not have any. So my mom suggested, how about we ask a neighbor kama gas cooker yake, is in the village, so it's not mostly that somebody who has a gas cooker is using it that much. So I went to the neighbor and told her, so I found this opportunity at the town to be cooking. Are you using your gas cooker? And let me tell you, every door we knocked, it was opened. My mom went to that lady who was the owner of the kiosk, and she was ready to rent it out by 300 shillings per month. 300 shillings per month. And then I went to the neighbor and she told me, now, yes, I'll give you the gas cooker, but you have it up until January, because I usually use it to warm the food for my children. So you have a timeline. I'll give it to you. Today is December 12th, but I'll give it to you up to 1st January. So what you'll do after 1st January, I don't know, but that is how long I'll give you to use the gas cooker. So I took the gas cooker and went and refilled it, and so I had a means of fire. And yeah, so believe it or not, the next day I was there with the kiosk open, because I went, we rented out the kiosk, we cleaned it, we arranged everything, and we were ready to start business the next day. And believe you not, the business picked like, it was so successful. Like, even until today, I usually wish to go back to those moments. They were so good. The business really went so well. When I say the business went so well, so I started cooking tea. For the first day now at the kiosk, I cooked tea, took the cakes, and also took some breads. I could sell them as toast, and also I could cook some eggs, and every day was like an improvement. Today, the first day I went with the rusk and the cups, and they told me, go get some cakes. I did that. They suggested, go rent out a kiosk. I did that. The next day, I'm there now with the kiosk, with the bread and the cakes, and they're telling me, no, you know, with the bread and the cake, it's like you're making profit for another person who have made the cake, who have made the bread. How about you make bread yourself? That is to picky a chapo. So like every day it was a race. I was like going and taking new suggestions from my customer. No, we want you to be cooking us chapo. So I started cooking chapo. The other day my mom suggested, how about we start cooking arrowroots and the doma and gouache. We went and started cooking the doma and gouache within less than a week, because that 12th December was on Monday. By the time Friday was getting, we were already cooking lunch. So I was like, I'm cooking gouache, I'm cooking doma, I'm cooking chapati, I'm cooking lunch. Like, it was going like this. I was making 800 to about 1200 profit per day. And for you to believe it, by the time January 1 was getting there, by the time January 1 was coming, you know, I have to give back the gas cooker. I already had enough to buy a jiko core, that improved jiko, and also bought a gas cooker. That was how the business, within from 12th December to 1st January, I had already made enough profit to buy a gas cooker and a jiko core. And so remember, I'm also cooking, so I'm buying these ingredients, all those, like every now and then, and even home I'm learning it. Oh my god, it was so great. Like, every time I usually go back to those moments, I'm usually like elated. I'm usually very, very happy. And yeah, if you're asking whether I got my phone, yes, by February 14, I already had my phone. I already had, my Valentine. By the time, actually it's not for February 14, it was around February 5. By February 5, I already had 10,000 to buy myself a phone, and I bought myself the phone I really so much wanted to buy. And so you're wondering what happened to the kiosk. When I say that God had like planned it out, everything is true. Like, because how it came to even end, it was just like, even like now I look back and I just say thank you God, because you had seen it all, you had planned it all, and it went great. So yeah, as you can already tell, I went on making the brand big. We even got started renting 2 houses where my mom would come. First, when we started cooking food, my mom would cook the food at home, and then she would send a Buddha and bring the food. Then I would sell and then go back home with the utensils. But then we saw that was so much go taking the foods, come bringing them. It was so much, and even preparing the border, and I know that it was so complicated. So we thought, how about we take a house that was nearby there, where my mom would be coming. Now already I have employed my mom, where my mom will be coming, cooking, and then I'll be selling them at the kiosk, and that is exactly what we did. In terms of success, like you can already tell, if I was able to buy that gas cooker within that small window, I'm ready to, already I've been able to buy a brand new phone within that small period. Yeah, you can already tell it was making enough and a lot of profit. My brother was in campus then. It was good, I can say, for the 4 months that I operated that kiosk. It was good because he just send me something, and yeah, how much? I even remember we ate a lot of meat at home, because when we were going home, you just feel like, let's eat. Amen. And remind you, I'm a form for river. That was a big deal. That was a big deal. It was a big deal. And so I operated the kiosk for 4 months, and why I came to stop is that, remember I told you the stage was located somehow at the outskirts of the town, and the space where the stage was the space where now the DO's office currently are located. So it came to a point where now the stage had to be moved and taken back to Dani, kwa town. And so I also by that time thought, I think it's time for me to wrap up. Like, sitahamisha my kiosk sasa niende kwenye mikahawa zingine ziko. So I just decided, when that order came that the stage needed to be relocated and taken further into the town, I decided that, yeah, that is enough. I'll also take this time to do the computer packages. You know, after Form 4, when you finish Form 4, some of the things that you usually do is doing the computer packages, and I also did not want to go to the university without at least not knowing how to do some basic things with the laptop. And so yeah, that is how it happened. So when they relocated, I decided to cross, and I joined a computer college that was just there at the town. And let me tell you, even today I look back and I thank God. Unknowingly to me, nimefunga on April 11. That is when I stopped operating the kiosk. And so from April 11, I decided to join the computer college. And not even April 11. It was not even actually April 11, because I operated for 4 months. So yeah, I think it's April 11, because it's December to January 12 to February 12 to March 12 to, up to April 11. I operated for exactly 4 months, because I opened on December 12, 2016 and closed it on April 11, 2017. And so I joined. I took like a gap of a week, and then I joined the computer college. I'm just 2 weeks into the computer college, and I get my letter that I've been called to Dedan Kimathi University. And as you know, the Dedan Kimathi University, they usually join in May. So I did not even have any time to like rest or take a break. Like it was all planned out. I started the kiosk, operated, got the things I wanted, got the phone, but like I prepared myself. And it could have been hard for me if now I could have waited up until September. Mtu mwenye ametoka form 4 na ameanza kushikashika pesa and then ukae sana, I think ningeanza kuregret why did I close the kiosk. But there was no gap like that because I joined the computer college. 2 weeks in, I get my letter of admission that I have to go to university by May 11th. So I start preparing, and let me tell you, the kiosk was way worth it. I was able to pay to help my parents pay the school fees. I had bought myself clothes, to go to I had prepared myself sufficiently to join the university. And so that is a moment that I usually look back, no single regret, and that is an experience that I'm very happy, very, very happy that I got to experience at that young stage of my life. And so what I can say is that, okay, in terms of how I used the finances or how I managed, I never regret at all because I bought my main thing, my phone. I supported home, I supported me joining the university, so it was great. So in terms of money management, I can say I did very good considering that I had just finished form 4. So one of maybe the only thing that I can say when you're starting your business is that listen to your customers. Because if I had not listened to them, the suggestion they were willingly giving, so willing to give, I don't think maybe I could have even started the kiosk. But by listening to them, listening what the customers say, they come and tell you, hey, wacha kutuuzia mkate, tupikie chapo. You go there. I was waking up at 4 a.m. saa 4 to make that chapo. That was how dedicated and so willing. So I was waking up at 4, cook chapo, then prepare by 6:30 latest. I was there. Unajua gari ya kwanza ikibeba dereva, the first car alikuwa nakula. So yeah, and it also takes some hard work because I was really, really determined. Really, it was great. It was great. Yeah, those are the okay. I think if there were some regrets, that is when we could be. It just went smoothly, and so maybe just listening to your customers was one of the lessons that I can say that I took from that. You need to listen and do for the customer because after all, those are the people you are waiting to sell for. Yeah, so that is what I mainly took from there. And also now in terms of a food kiosk being a hustle, it can be quite profitable because I think biashara ya chakula is quite profitable. It can be quite profitable because in 1 kilogram of rice you can make up to 500, just 1 kilogram. You can buy 1 gunia of kwashe. Yeah, tulifika tukakuwa hadi wholesale that big, tunabuy gunia ya kwashe ya kupika, and it will get exhausted within a week. And you find 1 gunia ya kwashe, you are buying it at maybe 1,400, and then it is making you up to 3,000 because every single piece of kwashe, kale kadogo 10, ile kubwa 15, 20, like you are selling each and every unit of that. You're not selling it as a gunia, you're selling each and every piece. It can be quite profitable because also rice, when you cook 1 kilogram of rice, ujue hiyo mchele utaweka kwa sahani ngapi, na unaweka kama mchele kidogo, unaweka ndengu, unaweka some veggies, So it can be quite uh, profitable, but it is quite tiring because you have to cook all those foods, you keep on serving, washing the utensils. You are really there, very, very engaging, but at the end of the day it is satisfying. By whatever you get very quite satisfied. And so yeah, that was my very first side hustle, because I did not have another one. That was the very first hustle I did. And so that one, I don't know if you can start it as a side hustle, because you have to be like there. Maybe only if you employing someone, it can be quite tricky, because you have to be like, no, if you cook 1 kilogram of unga ya ugali, how much is the return? So I don't know. I think it for a hustle is for you to be there. So it's not much of a side hustle where you are saying that you are in the main job and then it's still continue. Or you have a trust, maybe the only time it can work is when you have a trustworthy person, maybe like your mom, sister, somebody, a friend, somebody you trust. Yeah, maybe that can who can run it for you. And so yeah, that was my first side hustle. Tell me in the comment section of what you think about my first side hustle, and what was your, have you done any hustles? How did it go for you? Did you get disappointed after the first day? Was it a smooth road? Because I was lucky enough to first try my first ever side hustle and it succeeded. Yeah, that is it. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and watch out for the next videos. I have quite a number of other hustles. I'll be sharing them. Yeah, and that's it. Until the next one. Bye.